Hey guys. Okay, so I did document as much as I could about Chase's sleep study. The first couple videos I took, for some reason, the audio did not pick up. Um, I don't know why the video's there, but you can't hear what we're saying, so that kind of sucks. But it's basically um, us coming into the hospital and finding the room and that kind of stuff. So I did end up with some other clips with the audio of the room itself and um, a little bit of before and a small clip afterwards. They wouldn't let me turn my phone on. Once we got there, we had about 10 minutes in the room before they came in to hook him up to all the wires. Once they did that, I was not allowed to have my phone on at all until we left the next morning. They said it causes interference with the test. I don't know if it was interference with the machines or they didn't want kids distracted by the phone, or I'm not sure. A little unclear about that. But anyway, so because my first video won't load, we had Chase's sleep study last night. It's been a long 24 hours, so forgive me. Overall, it did go very well. He did amazing, which I knew he would. That little guy handles medical issues like nobody's business. He's quite the champ. So we did get there about 8 o'clock. About 8:30 at night is when they came in to start hooking him up. I was told that I could leave him long enough to go to the bathroom and come back, but that was it. So we were in a little tiny room. It had a chair, a sink, and the hospital bed for him. So when they came in about 8:30, it was a little crazy, I'll admit. There was two nurses that came in. One nurse was hooking him up to the monitors and everything, and the other nurse was trying to explain to me what all the monitors did. However, he got a little freaked out with all the wires being hooked up to him, and I don't blame him because he probably had about, I don't know, 8 or 10, something like that. Probably around 8 wires just around like this part of his head, and they had to use like a toothpaste type of not material, like adhesive to kind of stick it all onto his head. And then they got a big gauze and kind of wrapped his head up in the wires. There was a wire right here on each side of his eyes. There was one right here on his throat. There was a monitor on his finger. There was some, on his back, chest, legs. The poor kid had wires everywhere. They did have two different types of monitors in his nose. So it was very similar. There was two probes per device. I don't know the name. So he had four basically in his nose. One of them had a hook that kind of came down into his mouth, and that monitored his oxygen. They didn't give him oxygen. It was just to monitor what producing. I don't know. Forgive me. I've gone on 2 hours of sleep lately. So that process took maybe about 15-20 minutes to kind of get him hooked up. I did not hear a word that the other nurse was saying about what the other monitors do. I kind of got a word here and there because he was kind of upset, and I was trying to calm him down, and I was focusing on what he needed at the moment. So what anybody else was saying was just right over my head. Didn't hear it. Once they got him hooked up, she basically turned out the lights and said, "Okay, time to sleep," which with a 4-year-old, well, that was a little well, I thought it was going to be hard. It wasn't as hard. It was probably about 9 o'clock at that point. I had taken him to the park earlier that day, so he was already kind of tired. I was able to lay in the hospital bed with him, and so they left and the lights were out. There was a light, like a dim light above the bed that we were in, and a camera, so they could watch him sleep, which also kind of creeped me out a little bit because I felt like I was being watched. I mean, I was being watched, but so it was a little weird feeling, with a spotlight on you being watched while you are sleeping. It was a weird feeling. So I was able to kind of scratch him and rub him, and he actually, about 5 or so minutes after they left, he went right to sleep, passed out. I was actually kind of surprised. So probably about 9:15 or so, he was asleep. He, for the most part, did stay asleep all night long. They did tell us they would come back in about 4 o'clock, and that's when the test would end. Anytime a wire would move, anything like that, they had to come in and readjust. So they were kind of in and out of the room all night. So I didn't sleep. I probably got a couple little cat naps here and there, but the tube that was kind of going into his mouth to measure the oxygen, he kept pushing out with his tongue, and that had to stay in his mouth. So I kind of was holding this tube in his mouth most of the night, and anytime it would move, they would come in and readjust it, and loud and lights, and so there was no sleep, very little sleep anyways. But he did amazing. And about 4 o'clock in the morning is when they swung open the doors and said, "All right, test is over, time to get up." I thought, what? I just kind of fallen asleep. So it was a crazy way to wake up. It was very fast. Everything happened very quickly. They sat him up, took all the monitors off, and got up, got his shoes on. Security guard walked us back down, out of the hospital, and by about 4:30, about 4:15 or so, we were down in the car. So we did get home probably about a little bit before 5, and he got a hot shower when we got home to try to wash off some of the gunk in his hair, which you'll see in the videos I'll attach to here. I washed his hair probably about 3 times. It'll probably take another handful of times to wash it out, and then he kind of played in the bath for a little bit. So I think I got about an hour of sleep this morning. He surprisingly is doing great today. He wanted to go to preschool. He's in a good mood. He seemed full of energy. He was up playing with his brother. So he's doing really well. He did phenomenal. So proud of him. So we do wait about a month. They said 30 business days is what it'll take for our pediatrician to get the results. So I'm hoping they can get some good results and get some answers and try to see what we can do to help him sleep. So forgive my look. Going on about 2 hours of sleep. I know I'm not looking too great right now, but just wanted to keep everybody posted and kind of let you know how it went. It was quite an experience, I'll say that. I'm glad it's done. I'm glad he did well, and I hope we get some results from this. So I'll attach the few clips that I did manage to get here so you can see them, and that's it for now. So stay tuned for the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye. this is the room that we're in. I can't take video during the night. I have to keep my phone off. So I'll do what I can now. That is Chase's bed and Mommy's bed. Uh-oh. Huh. Hold on. So, this is it. This is our digs for the night. We're waiting for him to come in and hook him up to the wires and we'll go from there. Alright, this is my bed. Is it bouncy? We were having a hard time, but I think we're doing better now. How? How's your pillow? Test it out. Oh, did you go night-night?
It's good, Mama.
It's good?
Yeah.
What about the other pillow?
Good.
Good too?
Yeah.
Okay. You want to tell everybody night-night?
No.
No? You're just going to keep jumping on the bed?
Yeah.
No. Get down. Get down. All right, say night-night.
Night-night.
Wish us luck. Okay, so it is 4:07 in the morning and we just finished the sleep study. I had to turn my phone off so they wouldn't let me take pictures or anything last night. He did amazing considering all the wires and everything he had on him. So now we wait about a month to get the results. So he did so good. He actually slept better than I thought he would. And I didn't. But anyway, so he's doing good. That little champ back there. Oh, buddy. He's amused. Alright. Time to go home, nice warm shower, and hopefully back to bed. So